All right, so today I'm going to show you how to find the slope from a graph. So let's go ahead. In this page it says you are going to watch this video and you are going to complete pages 1 and 2 of this packet. Slope of a line can be described blank different ways. 2 different ways. So the first blank is 2. So slope of a line can be described 2 different ways. You can call it the change in y over the change in x, or we can call it the rise over the run. So the rise over the run. Rise is found in the y, run is found in the x. So slope of a line can be described 2 different ways. Change in y divided by change in x, or rise divided by run. To find the slope from a graph, you must find the difference between 2 points. To find the difference between 2 points, or coordinates, you need to find the rise over the run, or the change in y divided by the change in x. To find the distance between 2 coordinates, or to find the difference between 2 coordinates, you need to first plot 2 coordinates on the line. The reason you plot 2 coordinates on the line is because to find the slope, you only need 2 coordinates. So in this first example here, I'm going to plot 2 points. The first point I'm going to plot is right here on my y-intercept, where my y is crossed by my line. And then the second point on my line that I'm going to graphic coordinate on is my x-intercept. There are 2 coordinates on my line now. Then I'm going to circle these plotted points so that I know exactly which ones I'm going to use. If you need to pause and catch up, now is a good time to do that. Once I have my 2 coordinates, I'm going to write them to the side. So I have my 2 coordinates. So I count up 1, 2, 3, and I can't go over. So I have 0, 3 as my first coordinate, and then I have -1, -2, -3 as my second coordinate. Now, how do I find the slope? In order to find the slope, I could use my formula y2 minus y1 divided by x2 minus x1. I could use that formula, or I can simply count the slope on my line. So I count the slope. And how do I count the slope? I count the rise, or how many it moves up between the 2 points. So it counts up 1, 2, 3. So my rise is 3 because I move up 3, 1, 2, 3. And then I count my run, 1, 2, 3. My run is how many I move to the right. So I counted up 1, 2, 3, and then I counted over 1, 2, 3. So my rise over my run in this example is 3 divided by 3. So to find the slope, I have 3 divided by 3. And when I divide 3 by 3, I get the number 1. So the slope of this line is 1. So I counted up 1, 2, 3 for my rise, and I counted over 1, 2, 3 for my run. So I count the rise, and then I count the run. Now to find B, I need to find the y-intercept, and that is where my line crosses the y-axis. So I see where my line crosses the y-axis. And to find out where my line crosses the y-axis, I simply start at the top of my y-axis and go down until I hit where my line crosses it. So in this example, example 1, my line crosses at 0, 1, 2, 3. So my y-intercept is 0, 3, or 3. Now to write an equation, I need to use slope-intercept form. And to use slope-intercept form, I'm going to say y equals the slope of 1 plus my y-intercept of 3. But I don't really need to write that one, so my real equation would be y equals x plus 3. This is the equation that represents this line. Now I'm going to do it with a second example, so let's take a look. So the first thing I do is I plot my 2 coordinates on my coordinate plane, and then I circle them to make sure I know which ones I'm using. Then I'm going to write those 2 coordinates off to the side. So let's see. Here's my origin point 0, 0. So that means that this coordinate point is -1, 2. So -2, 0. And then on my y, I have 0, 1, 2, 3, -3. I'm going down 3, so my next coordinate is 0, -3. -2, 0, 0, -3. So now I'm going to go ahead and count the rise over the run. And once again, the rise is how much I move up or down. And the run is how much I move to the right. In this example, my line is moving in a downward direction, so I know that my slope is going to be a negative number. Now, how do I know it's a negative number? Because the line is moving down. It moves down 1, 2, 3 every time. So the rise is -3. I put a negative because it's moving down. In this example, my rise is -3 because it's moving down 1, 2, 3 every time. And it moves over 1, 2. So the run is 2. Now I know that my slope is written as rise over run. And in this example, my rise is -3 and my run is 2. So -3 over 2. So I'm going to write my slope right here is -3 over 2. I know that this is correct because it's a negative and this line is moving down. I can count that between each point on the line, it goes down 1, 2, 3, and it goes to the right 2. My slope is correct. I leave it as an improper fraction because I like slope in a fraction form. I do not want to convert this to a decimal. Now I look for my y-intercept, and when I look for my y-intercept, I start at the top of my y-axis and I just move my pencil down until I see where my line crosses the y-axis. In this case, my line crosses the y-axis at -3. So my y-intercept is 0, -3, because whenever my x equals 0, whatever my y equals, that is my y-intercept. So in this example, my y-intercept is -3. Now I can write my equation in slope-intercept form, or y equals mx plus b. In this equation, my slope is -3 over 2. I multiply that by x, and I subtract 3. This is the final equation for this line. If you need to pause and catch up, this is a good time to pause and catch up on your notes. If you need to re-watch the notes, this is a good time to go back and re-watch the notes. On page 2, on this page, you're going to practice doing this on your own. So go ahead and you will follow the steps from page 1. You will plot 2 coordinates on the line. Circle those 2 coordinates. Write the coordinates to the outside of the graph. Count the rise, count the run. You will do that for question number 1, and you will do it for question number 2. Once you have found the slopes for question number 1 and question number 2, you are going to identify the y-intercepts. Once you have found the y-intercepts and the slope, you can write the equation in y equals mx plus b format. This is your assignment. Once you have finished this assignment, you are going to go ahead and move on to the 3rd page of this packet, which is your homework assignment or your home learning assignment for the weekend. You need to go ahead and make sure that you graph each one of these examples and create a table for it using the equation. And in this part, you're going to match each equation with its table. This is your assignment. I will be collecting it on Monday. So if you need to rewatch the notes for this video, go ahead. I have also posted this sheet of paper on eClass for you to follow along with. You need to complete these questions on page 2, and your home learning is page 3. If you need help, please rewatch this video or work with a partner.